Formula One is the fastest, most engineered sport on the planet. Billions of dollars, thousands of engineers, and rules so strict that a single millimeter can cost you everything. But here's the thing. Some teams decided those rules were just suggestions. We're talking about teams that hid secret tanks inside their cars, teams that stole blueprints and got away with it, teams that literally caused a crash on purpose to win a race. And every single one of them came within inches of being thrown out of Formula One forever. These aren't small teams. These aren't nobodies. We're talking about some of the biggest, most powerful names in the history of this sport. Teams with world champions, teams with hundreds of millions of dollars behind them. And they all got caught. Let's start with one of the most controversial seasons in the history of Formula One, 1994. A season so dark, so layered in secrets and tragedy, that people are still arguing about it 30 years later. The FIA had just banned traction control, launch control, active suspension, all of it gone. The idea was simple. Make the drivers actually drive, put the skill back in the cockpit. But one team had other plans, Benetton, and their star driver, a young Michael Schumacher, who was about to win his very first world championship. The question that has haunted F1 ever since. Did he do it fair? It all started at the very first race of the season, Brazil. Schumacher's pit stop was insanely fast, suspiciously fast. Other teams clocked it immediately, but that was just the beginning. Because the real issue wasn't the pit stop, it was what was hiding inside the car's computer. You see, after the San Marino Grand Prix, the race where Ayrton Senna tragically lost his life, the FIA demanded source code from the top teams. They wanted to check for illegal software. And when they finally got into Benetton's system, they found something. Deep inside the engine management software, buried where nobody was supposed to look, was a hidden option, Option 13. It wasn't visible on the screen. You had to scroll past 10 normal settings to even find it. And when you activated it, it was launch control, a system that could give the driver a perfect start every single time. Exactly the kind of thing the FIA had just banned. Benetton's defense? They said it was old software, leftover code, that Schumacher couldn't activate it, that it was completely useless. But here's where it gets even messier. The FIA couldn't prove it was used in a race. And because they couldn't prove it, they couldn't punish them. Benetton got fined $100,000. That's it. For hiding illegal software in their car, $100 grand. For a team backed by hundreds of millions. Schumacher went on to win the championship, his first of 7. And to this day, nobody knows for sure whether Option 13 was ever actually used. But Benetton, they weren't done pushing boundaries. Not even close. Fast forward to 2005. And this time, the cheating wasn't in the software. It was in the actual physical car, Bar Honda, a team backed by one of the biggest car manufacturers on the planet, and their star driver, Jenson Button. Now, in Formula One, every single car has to meet a minimum weight. At the time, that was 600 kilograms, not a gram less. Because in F1, weight is everything. Every single kilogram you shed is speed, pure, undeniable speed. So Bar Honda came up with a plan so clever, so borderline genius, that it almost got them thrown out of the sport entirely. They built a second fuel tank inside the first one. Think about that for a second. A tank inside a tank. The idea was simple. Before the race, you fill both tanks. The car hits the minimum weight. It passes inspection, no problem. But during the race, the second tank drains separately. The car gets lighter, faster, and nobody would ever know. And it worked. For a while, San Marino. Button finishes third. A great result. Podium, points, everything Bar needed. But after the race, the stewards start the routine checks. They drain the fuel, they weigh the car, and then they find it. A second fuel tank, hidden inside the main one, completely sealed off, impossible to drain during the normal post-race checks. And when they finally emptied it, the car was 5 kilograms underweight. Now, 5 kilograms might not sound like much to you, but in F1, that's worth about a quarter of a second per lap. Over a full race distance, that's 15 seconds. 15 seconds of free advantage, every single lap. The FIA was furious. And here's the crazy part. They didn't just want to ban BAR for a couple of races. They wanted to ban them for the entire season. The whole year. Gone. No races. No points. Nothing. In the end, Bar got off lighter than the FIA wanted. Disqualified from San Marino. Banned from the next 2 races, Spain and Monaco. Both drivers lost all their points from Imola, and they were handed 6 more suspended race bans, just in case. Button sat out 2 races he should have been racing. for something he probably didn't even know about. And the kicker? Bar Honda later became Mercedes, the most dominant team in F1 history. Now we're getting into the big leagues. 2007. And this scandal, this one didn't just almost get a team banned, it cost them $100 million, the largest fine in the history of sport. To this day, McLaren, one of the most successful teams in F1 history, Lewis Hamilton's rookie year, Fernando Alonso, two of the fastest drivers on the planet, in what looked like an unbeatable car. This was supposed to be their year, but behind the scenes, something was already in motion, something that would change everything. It started with a man called Nigel Stepney. He was a senior engineer at Ferrari, one of the best in the business. But in early 2007, he was unhappy, felt he'd been overlooked, passed over for promotion, so he did something unforgivable. He started passing Ferrari's secrets to his old friend, a man called Mike Coughlin, who just happened to be the chief designer at McLaren. We're not talking about a few notes, a couple of sketches. We're talking about 780 pages, full blueprints, engineering data, performance specs, basically everything Ferrari needed to build their 2007 car. All of it, handed over. And here's where the story gets absolutely insane. Coughlin gave the documents to his wife to photocopy them at a local copy shop in Woking. And the guy working at that copy shop was a Ferrari fan. He looked at the documents, saw the Ferrari logo, saw the confidential markings all over them, and immediately emailed Ferrari. Just like that, game over. Ferrari filed a complaint. The FIA launched an investigation, and what followed was months of legal battles, hearings, and accusations that tore through the entire paddock. McLaren's defense was that Coughlin acted alone, that nobody else in the team knew, that none of Ferrari's data had made it into their car. The first hearing, McLaren was cleared. The FIA said there wasn't enough evidence, and for a moment, it looked like they might just walk away from the whole thing. But then, new evidence came to light. Internal McLaren emails that showed other people in the team had seen the Ferrari documents. And just like that, everything changed. A second hearing, September 2007, and this time, the FIA came in heavy. McLaren was stripped of every single point from the 2007 Constructors' Championship. Every point, gone. And then came the fine. $100 million, the largest fine in the history of sport. Not just F1, sport. And here's what Ron Dennis revealed years later. Behind closed doors, two members of the World Council told him something chilling. If McLaren had appealed the fine, the punishment would have been a 2-year ban. 2 years, no racing, no points, no income. McLaren would have been wiped off the calendar entirely. So Dennis made the call. Accept the fine. Don't appeal. Save the team. Hamilton and Alonso kept their individual points. They were allowed to keep racing for the Drivers' Championship, but the team paid the price. And now, we get to the one that takes it all to another level. 2008, Singapore Grand Prix. And this time, it wasn't about hidden tanks or stolen blueprints. This time, a driver crashed on purpose. Renault F1, Fernando Alonso, and Nelson Piquet Jr., two drivers, one team, and a plan so reckless, so calculated, that it would eventually end careers and nearly destroy the team entirely. Here's the situation. Renault hadn't won a race in almost 2 years. The car was slow. Qualifying was a disaster. Alonso started 15th. Piquet started 8th, on a street circuit where overtaking is nearly impossible. So the team came up with a plan. Alonso would pit early, get fresh tires, get fuel, and then someone else would make sure a safety car came out to bunch the field back up to give Alonso a shot at the lead. That someone was his own teammate. On lap 14, exactly when the plan called for it, Nelson Piquet Jr. drove his car straight into the wall. Safety car out, field bunched up, pit lane opened, and Alonso, who had already pitted, suddenly found himself in the lead. He went on to win the race. From 15th, a miracle, the commentator said. A stunning drive, the fans thought, but it wasn't a miracle. It was a fix. The truth didn't come out until almost a year later. Piquet was dropped by Renault, and in exchange for not being charged, he told the FIA everything. The investigation confirmed it. The crash was deliberate, ordered by the team, planned before the race even started. And team boss Flavio Briatore knew exactly what was happening. The FIA came down hard. Renault received a suspended 2-year ban from Formula One. If they ever did something like this again, they were gone. Forever. Briatore, lifetime ban. Banned from every single FIA-sanctioned event. The harshest individual punishment ever handed down in motorsport history. Pat Simons, the engineering director, 5 years. Gone. And Alonso? Despite everything, Alonso was never charged. The FIA couldn't prove he knew about the plan beforehand, but the damage was done. sponsors pulled out, the team's reputation was destroyed, and one of the most calculated cheats in the history of sport had been laid bare for the entire world to see. So here's what all of this tells us about Formula One. This is a sport where the margins are razor thin, where a tenth of a second can be the difference between first and second, between a championship and nothing. And when you're racing at that level, with that much money, that much pressure, some teams decide to bend the rules. Benetton hid illegal software and walked away with a world championship and a slap on the wrist. Barr hid a fuel tank inside a fuel tank and nearly got banned for an entire season. McLaren got caught with Ferrari's blueprints and paid the largest fine in sporting history. And Renault told their own driver to crash on purpose. Every single one of these teams came within inches of losing everything. Their reputation, their place in the sport, their legacy. And the crazy thing, most of them are still here, still racing, still competing at the highest level. Because in Formula One, the line between genius and cheating has always been thinner than you think. The question isn't whether teams will try to bend the rules again, it's whether they'll get caught. If you enjoyed this, check out this video right here. Same energy, same kind of stories that will make you question everything you thought you knew about this sport. And as always, thank you for watching.